Hey guys, Huzzy here bringing you another video. Now today we are watching a high rank person again. We are watching this time Felix, which again, I think he's a competitive player. But this is the guy that was famous for having something stupid, like 5 accounts or something in the top 10 of Challenger at one time. Something like that. But what caught my eye was he is playing Galio mid, full AP. So we did this a few days ago, or maybe a week ago by now, but we did it on the leveling account, obviously not in a high quality game, and I left that game kind of thinking, this potentially could work, but I would want to test it more. Well, let's watch, arguably, the highest quality solo queue game we're going to get. This guy, I think right now is rank 2, maybe, on EU West in Challenger. Obviously one of the best solo queue players in the world. What can he do with it? And if he can make it work in a Challenger game, then it can definitely work in your gold, silver, platinum, whatever game, diamond game for me. It can definitely work. So, yeah, I thought it would be interesting. Again, if you didn't check out yesterday, we did a Volibear game. That was a close game. This one, again, you can tell by the time, this one's a bit more stompy. Again, I'm doing one game that was close to the Volibear. This game's a stomp. And then obviously, by the time these both are uploaded, you guys can give me your feedback of which one do you prefer. Do you prefer the Volibear style, that the game is closer, a little bit longer? Or do you prefer this style, that the game is not as close and a little bit shorter? So let me know in the comments down below. But also, if you can like the video, that does help out too. And feel free in the comment section, if there's a player you want me to watch specifically, or a champion, you can put that in the comments also. Galio. So yes, he did receive some changes. You can see he's against a Pantheon in the mid lane. So in theory, he should get bullied early, you know, the Galio. Pantheon is more of an early game champion. That's what he needs to do. I am seeing some people play Pantheon mid a bit more. Obviously, in that Volibear episode, it was another Pantheon mid. Another one here. Versus Galio. Really nice dodge there. Versus in the Volibear game, it was against a Zoe. Obviously, now this time against the Galio. So you'll notice, basically, first blood does happen. The Galio is being passive. He is not wanting to risk too much. He is not wanting his health bar to go dramatically down. He doesn't want to burn through all of his potions for nothing. So he's going to be calculated. You know, when I've said to you guys why early game playstyles in League have become less effective is because the player base, that guy flashed away. Like, what? Because he probably would have got killed. Lee Sin is in the area. Now he doesn't have flash, so I'm expecting a flash and then taunt. Remember, you can't... Oh, just out of range. Straight away dead. Weird play by Lee, I guess, but he got around to then get the Q. But yeah, so that Pantheon panicked, thinking that the Galio was going all in, and then it cost him a few seconds later. But like I mentioned earlier, why early game champions and why really Riot shouldn't be making early game champions anymore is because the player base has got smarter. This guy didn't risk anything in the first 1 to 3 levels. And yeah, like that's kind of where Pantheon really wanted to hammer home, I'm stronger than you. Galio didn't risk anything. He got behind in farm and he didn't do anything, and now they've killed him. You know, he's now ahead in farm. They've killed him once. Bada bing, bada boom. Just by playing smart, basically. Obviously, in this game, you might recognize a few people if you know... Again, I don't recognize any pros per se, but there might be some in here. Again, the guy that's rank 1 on the US right now is the Shackled one, and apparently that's Caps. So yeah, pros don't always go by their actual pro name. So you can see Lee Sin is lurking over to the left-hand side. Why? Yeah, camp a lane that's going to be easy to camp. It's a melee champion, so he holds it as quick as he can. Gets him again. It's fairly easy. So you're playing against something in mid that is melee. So that's one weakness and why you can camp them. Because if he's really far over here, well, because he's melee, he's really going to be over there. And then secondly, he's an early game champ. So if you demolish his early game, then he won't really do anything anyway. So another negative, I guess. So Galio's just like having a little bit of fun with the Shyvana. Lee Sin was in the area, but not close enough to do anything with. And they will just return probably to mid lane. Shyvana, however, is covering and actually takes a lot of the farm. Not entirely sure he would have been happy with that. Lee Sin is still in the area if they were to engage, and they decide against it. So bot lane's going pretty well. Top lane's relatively even. It is a Talon top, so I presume it's a one-trick top lane. You know, that's what... Why else would you be playing Talon top lane? But he did get a kill early, probably thanks to, obviously, the early aggression from the Ignite difference. And maybe, because again, Camille is a top laner. This top lane person probably doesn't play against Talon that much. You can get surprised sometimes when you're playing against something off meta. Especially if that person who is playing the off-meta thing is just really good at that thing. And if he's a challenger Talon main, well then obviously he's going to be pretty damn good at Talon. Right, so you'll notice the Galio is holding the lane, same engage, throwing the taunt, Lee Sin's in the area, he holds his taunt as much as he can, and boom. 3 kills to Lee Sin. Yes, the Galio might have wanted a couple of those, but it's not a bad thing necessarily. And all three have practically been the same thing. He's melee, go near the guy with your E as Galio, hold your taunt, wait for the Lee Sin, taunt the guy, and then finish him off with the both of your damage. Huzzy Cannon. So here's the Challenger recall. Again, very nice. It is cool to see occasionally. You can see obviously bot lane also being 2-0. Lee Sin 3-0 with everything in mid lane, and top lane is slightly behind. So again, not a complete stomp so far, because obviously top lane is not being stomped, and you can see the clear difference in the jungle. Shyvana farm orientated, Lee Sin gank orientated, but what Lee Sin is doing very well, he's doing right now is the dragon. So he's doing this because, one, you can solo it as Lee Sin, but that is a very important thing to take away from a Shyvana, who, you know, in general, you know, it's less important for AP Shyvana to get those dragons, but it's still important to take them away because Shyvana gets 3 resistances per dragon. Again, it's not crazy. From memory, it's like 5 armor and 5 magic resist or something per dragon, so it's nothing insane. We actually can check. Oh, I can't because I don't have vision with how the replay works. But yeah, it's nothing crazy. I think, by the way, Pantheon might have gone over to get this stuff, maybe. And I don't know, looking for a top lane gank. Nope. So he just went to go take the Wraiths or whatever they're called nowadays. Again, I bet there's some people out there that are so confused why I call that Wraith. Ooh, really close to being nice. Who get the crab? Lee Sin got the crab, and they will clear the ward, so advantage red team there. The score is 1-7, which I just noticed, which, so again, does look like a little bit of a stomp, but as I mentioned, top lane, you know, red side top lane is not stomping, so it's not a complete stomp so far. So, how would blue team win this game, by the way? And yes, second game in a row, just to mention, EU West, Grandmaster Challenger type rating, a weird support, second game in a row. So last game, the enemy team had a Camille support, this game they've got a Sylas support. I don't know why. Also, just worth noting, so Pantheon is ulting. Legitimately, that was a bad ultimate. Legitimately, Galio could be a massive counter to Pantheon. I just thought, why? Because he roamed, double hit with the taunt, and he will die too, double kill Kai'Sa. You follow him. You're a mid laner that can fight the Pantheon in mid lane. When he ults away, you just ult the person that on your team. Oh my god, is Galio the natural counter to Pantheon? Like, even in top lane, if Pantheon plays top, you can play Galio top. That's not terrible. It's like Vladimir or Swain. Oh my god, it legitimately could be a counter. Obviously, if you're playing top lane, it's not as good, because if Pantheon ults bot lane, you can't ult that far as Galio. But yeah, they're very similar ult distances if you're both in mid lane. That's really interesting. So far, the Galio is 0-0-5. So no kills so far, and trust me, he will get some. I don't think the game ends like an absolute stomp from memory. It's going to be obviously one-sided, but yeah, something must happen. But yeah, first item goes for a Gunblade. I like that. I don't remember if we did that in my game. We might have. But it's auto-attack power. Auto-attack power with Galio plus your passive is so much damage. Which is great. So this has been an example of a game that coordination has more or less won, at least mid lane, that you're against the melee early game thing, the basic combo, not an advanced combo, go near the melee champion, taunt it, Lee Sin's there, boom, 3 kills in a row. Yeah, it's just very nice. So they will kill the Camille. Pantheon makes it too late, wasn't needed, but they're going to take 1 or 2 tower plates potentially. Galio should definitely take at least 1, but a random Sylas support is there to cover the lane. They might go for the kill, they will. Taunt it, Lee Sin will go for the finish, I presume. And there you go. Same story every single time. Which again is also why I think Galio mid could be back. Is the damage is good, but it's also incredibly good for setting up your team. And if you're personally not having a great game, well, it's always going to be relatively useful. Taunt's useful, the ultimate's useful, you've got CC, wave clear. Like, I'm a pretty big fan of Galio. I think you'll be able to tell that. So there might be a role swap that's happened, which I do potentially agree that is the smart move by the blue team. You know, the Pantheon's getting owned. He's not fallen off yet, but he is going to be falling off. Go against the Camille that's weaker, and then you put the Talon that is stronger against the Galio in hopes that the Talon can then take on the Galio. Problem is, Obviously, bot lane is snowballing now. Galio's got his first completed item. So I don't even think Talon would be able to take on the Galio anymore. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. If I had to say, I'd guess that Talon is either going to go top lane to get that gank off, to get a kill on Camille, or he'll have bot lane to try and do something down there. It would be very weird. Yeah, so he's bot lane. But he decides against going crazy. I think he did like a relatively good amount of damage, but not enough. They do get the tower in the end. Galio being left in mid lane alone will push it in, and he will get some plates as well. Pantheon might ult back into mid lane any second if he doesn't want the Galio to get too many plates here. Because he probably, if the Galio stayed attacking this, he'll get one more. Will he be allowed to get that? Let's see. With the passive, boom, 2 more auto attacks. And there you go. So no one stopped him to get another bonus plate, not the Pantheon ulting or anything like that. So you can see the Galio is actively pinging. Mid laner, he's obviously a very good solo queue player. He's not being passive, not doing anything. He's saying, yo, Dragon's up in 17. Rift Herald's alive. That's kind of just saying we should do Rift Herald. It's like the little language of pings, basically. Talon was in that bush. I think Galio knew. And here's the point. That Talon is supposedly strong. Not to this Galio. No, he's not. So the... Wow. See what the damage? He 100-0'd a Talon. He 100-0'd a 2-0 Talon. I know Talon's squishy, but this Galio isn't, like, insanely fed. He didn't have a kill. He was 0-0-6. Also, what that does is that enables Lee Sin to take another dragon, take it away from the Shyvana. There's a big play happening in bot lane. Galio ulting in on the Kai'Sa does go down. Ult coming in, which again, you have to remember, is faster than Pantheon's ultimate. He will pick up 1 kill, does go for the taunt play, gets it nice and quickly. He should re-engage any second. Lee Sin's in the area. He's going to fight the Pantheon. There's a fight happening over there with the Shyvana. Shyvana's going to flash away. She's going to get killed. Pantheon going to go for the Lee Sin. Lee Sin goes down, and then the taunt coming, misses. Camille, however, will then finish off the Pantheon. For some reason, the Sylas re-engages. Questionable decision to summon her with the knock-up. Talon making the rounds. Does go for a weird flash play. Nothing going to come of it so far. Galio will go down in the end. Overall, advantage red team. Couple of mistakes from blue, but overall, not too bad. They will also, again, to make the point clear, they did take the dragon before. So again, that does hurt the Shyvana. Again, to make it clear as well, I'm saying again too much. Hey Huz, AP Shyvana jungle. Yep, that is the most viable way to play Shyvana nowadays. There might be some, Shyvana purists in the comments going, no, it's not. Bruise is the best. Most would disagree. It's just more useful. Like, the active damage of Shyvana to get it off. She is kind of like a running champion, like Volibear, like Udyr. Yes, she does have a dragon jump, but after her jump, she's got nothing more to get to people, apart from running. So the most reliable source of damage that she has is her breath, is the fire breath when she's a dragon. And that scales insanely well as AP, so ipso facto, the best way to play her right now is probably AP. So, nice Thresh Lantern, double taunt coming in, Lee Sin's in the area. He should probably go for the Sylas if he can, because the Pantheon's definitely dead. But, however, the kill will happen, and Galio now is 3-1-7, versus a 1-6 Pantheon mid. Good wave clear as well, AP Shyvana too. Great all-in. She's actually fairly tanky, surprisingly. Again, well, tanky if she gets the dragons, and obviously this Lee Sin has done a very good job of prioritizing taking the dragons away. Again, you do have to ask yourself the question, if it wasn't a Shyvana against this Lee Sin, would have he prioritized the dragons as much? Maybe not, but this time he did, because of his opponent, most likely. But yeah, Talon is 3-1. The bot lane obviously got owned. Is that the question? Was it this Xayah's fault as a challenger Xayah? Or is it because she's got a Sylas support? Possibly the latter. Sylas support, what is that really going to offer versus an actual support that is Thresh? Probably not too much. Talon will get himself another kill. So the Talon is doing great in a game that everything is stacked against him. The towers are on the red team. The dragons are on the red team. He is still actively doing things. Now, you did see earlier in the game, Galio's like, I want this Rift Herald. Meanwhile, Camille dies. And yeah, so he starts it. And he had no... Trust me, that guy probably had very little intention of actually doing the Rift Herald. He just started it to make the Lee Sin do it. He's like, I'm starting it. I want it done. All right, you're on it? Okay, I'm leaving. See ya. Have fun. So, yeah. Again, that is the type of subtle play that makes the difference of somebody that is going to climb a lot in League. He knows what to do, and he necessarily doesn't want to do the Rift Herald himself. He wants to go top and push, but it's the little things like, I'm starting the Rift Herald for you. I'm going to start the dragon for you. It's little things like that that actually go a long way. So Galio waiting in the wings, potential bad positioning here. They're going to be pretty careful. Silas is nearly dead. Lee Sin goes for a big engage. Galio in the middle gets a double taunt with the big damage in the end. Thresh gets a nice hook. Pantheon damage. Pantheon shield's not going to save him too much. Kai'Sa to the right is going to kill the Silas, and that means they do kill 3 of the enemy team and now have pushing power with the Rift Herald. So overall, pretty damn good. You know, nice advantage being used. Good taunts are happening all the time. Good damage output. So again, does AP Galio work? We asked this question in a leveling game not too long ago. We're now asking it in a challenger game on EU West. I'd probably say yes, but we do have to also take into account this was a perfect situation. He's against the Pantheon, who arguably isn't going to be very good in challenger when you're against really smart players that know play passive from level 1 to 3, get jungle help, use my taunt, the Pantheon will be useless. So you do have to question if this was a lower rating game where they didn't punish the Pantheon as much and the Galio wasn't as smart to be passive in the early game. Yeah, maybe it could be different. But in a challenger sense, this Galio is working very well. And obviously, yes, bot lane won in their own, mid lane obviously did very well, and top lane has struggled. So overall, pretty cool. But yeah, I do think AP Galio could definitely be a thing again. Will we see it in Worlds? It's possible. Galio is a great competitive pick, but what made him great a lot of the time was the ability to taunt flash. So you hold your taunt, you then flash, and then the taunt goes off. He no longer can do that, obviously, because they thought it was a bit too strong. Arguably, it might have been. Galio ulting, going to the bot lane, probably for the Camille with a Talon. He will then pick up the kill himself, helps out the Camille in the end. And obviously that is also the counter to the 1v1 in bot lane, when you have a Galio that can just land on somebody and help them out. Great for solo queue, great for pro play. But yeah, we might see him in Worlds. He could definitely fit in some type of comp. If you, like, in my opinion, I reckon if you had a Xayah Rakan Galio combo, that's an amazing engage with Rakan. You throw a Galio on top of that, that's great. And then you have the feathers going through with all that, you know, craziness. I think that would be an insane combo. So we might see that. Silas goes for engage, which honestly I think is a mistake. I doubt this is going to go very well. Galio gets 1 kill. The feathers are going to come through. There's the root. He didn't Zhonya's quick enough to avoid the damage. The best way... Oh, he's going to run away. I was going to say his best defense there might have been offense. Pantheon takes a million years to go in. He flashes, he's going to try and get the solo kill. Pantheon's not having any of it, and he will finish off the Pantheon. Another flash coming by the Xayah. Galio flashes away to try and get away, and the enemy team really wants this. Talon is also in the area. All that's on this guy's mind right now is, can I get 1 kill? He can't, and he will go down. Camille now, might not be the best TP in one way, but also, wow, that was a really long range E. Honestly, it's fine, because if you actually look at where her team is, yes, she wanted a kill, but look what's happening here. So sometimes it's okay. You know, it's not a perfect situation. I'm sure that Camille kind of wish she didn't do that, but it worked out. You know, take the positives as they come. Alright, so not bad. Good decision making by the red team to go for that inhibitor while the enemy team was distracted. Shyvana hasn't been able to do too much yet, but her AP is building. And again, don't underestimate it. It is definitely very strong. And let's be honest, this is a relatively squishy team comp. Maybe Thresh is the tankiest one on the team. And when your support is the tankiest one on the team, you don't have a crazy tank. And some people say, what about Alistar and that? Yeah, they've got abilities that, like, Alistar's got damage reduction, but generally they're not supposed to be the tankiest on your team because they're gold starved. They don't have a lot of items usually. But in this game with a Camille, Lee Sin going full damage, etc., yeah, the Thresh is arguably the tankiest. Hell, maybe the Galio is the tankiest, even being full AP. Right, so moving into the later stages of the game, most likely. Baron is coming up in a minute. That is definitely on the cards for red team. Coming around the corner, is he going to find anything? We do have a little bit of vision. Talon in the top lane. Yeah, he's overextended at this point. All Camille needs to do is distract this guy enough. Galio's going to turn, does a bunch of damage to the Shyvana. One-shots Neely in a 1v3. Enemy team focusing quite hard. Gets help from the Kai'Sa in the end. He's going to taunt. He's then going to run out of the damage reduction, the Pantheon, and they will all die. Galio survives in that 1v3 with also nearly killing the Shyvana as well. Very impressive damage. Shyvana will eventually go down. Silas, however, will get the kill in the end on the Kai'Sa. But again, I think this game has shown that, yes, in a good situation, he is definitely not a bad thing as Galio, at least. It can work. And if you combine that his damage isn't bad, he nearly just one-shots, you know, a Shyvana. Yes, it's AP, but still, that that means he could one-shot an AP mid laner. That means he could one-shot an AD carry. But then he also has the team elements. He helps his team as well. He's got a taunt, utility. I think it's a great pick. I think it's legitimately really good. So they get that kill. Baron is definitely on the table right now. There are pings. Galio, again, like we mentioned earlier, he is making calls. He is saying what to do. He pinged Rift Herald. He pinged the Dragons. He is now pinging Baron. He is saying, we do this. And, usually when it's objective, your jungler is making those decisions. Has anybody seen the Lee Sin? Again, he did ping there. Baron's coming up in a minute 20. But generally, it hasn't been the Lee Sin making like the calls to do things. It's been the Galio going, let's do it. I want to do it. Let's do it. Even going so far as starting the Rift Herald for the Lee Sin and then leaving. That's what makes a good player. Again, it works if you know what you're doing. If you don't, obviously it could backfire. Meanwhile, there is a split right now. They're going for the Talon and they're going for Baron at the same time. Good hook by Thresh. Galio uses the little gunblade to get closer and finishes off with the Camille damage. And yeah, really nice. Build-wise, now, this is where we do have to kind of say, I'm not entirely convinced this is going to be the build for Galio mid lane. This is a big snowball game. The Galio's got very fed. So do I think, like, these items, 100% yes. Zhonya's great. You land from your ultimate, use Zhonya's. Awesome. I'm not convinced that for your third item, it's generally going to be Spellbinder, if I'm honest. I think that's just because this guy has done very well. Lee Sin going for an ultimate. There's the combo again with the Galio combined. Galio going to go for the Shyvana. Needs the taunt, gets the taunt. Going on the Xayah now. You can see walking in front of her to not let her leave. Will get the kill. Xayah probably... Oh, no, she just left. Rage quit, I guess. And they will most likely end the game very soon. The enemy team's leaving. Some people have asked me the question, why do people leave before the game ends? Frustration, get out the game. And I've also heard from one person, it's psychologically not to see the defeat pop up on the screen. Again, that wouldn't affect me really, but for some people I guess it does. But overall, a really nice game of Galio. I do think this shows evidence that Galio mid definitely works. If it works in a high challenger game on EU West, it can work in our games in solo queue, us lower rating plebs. But yeah, I'm just not convinced that you'll build Spellbinder as third item unless you're snowballing. Sure, it would help your combo, give you bonus AP, but I'd be careful with that if you are going to do this yourself. But if you guys did enjoy this commentary, throw a like on the video. Remember to comment which do you prefer. Do you prefer the Volibear, that the game was closer, or do you prefer the Galio, that's a bit more of a stomp? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. See you.